You know that feeling when you have this deep, deep longing for a spiritual connection, but at the same time, you just feel distant? Well, today, we're going to dive into a piece of wisdom that gets right to the heart of that exact struggle. I mean, that question really hits you, doesn't it? It gets right to the point. This isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It's like a mirror held up to our own spiritual state. It's asking us, hey, how can you possibly expect to show up to the destination if you haven't even prepared for the journey? So what if that feeling of being spiritually stuck isn't actually about the door being closed to us? This piece of wisdom is really inviting us to look inward and ask a totally different question. Is my heart actually ready to walk through that door? All right, so let's start by digging into this core conflict, that very real desire for a deeper connection and, that internal barrier that so often seems to be standing in the way. And the source material actually gives this barrier a specific name. It's called ghafla, which we can translate as heedlessness. And this right here is such a crucial concept. It's not just about, simple forgetting. It's a whole state where the heart is just weighed down, making it feel almost impossible to be light and present. Getting a handle on ghafla is really the key to all of this. Okay, so I know this idea of ghafla can sound a little abstract, but to make it really concrete, the source uses this beautiful and frankly powerful analogy that I think just makes everything click into place. Look, we all understand this on a physical level, right? Before we enter a sacred space, like a mosque, what do? We perform a physical purification. We wash up, we make sure our clothes are clean. It's second nature. Well, this wisdom just takes that same exact logic and applies it inward. To enter the sacred space of the divine presence, the heart itself needs its own kind of purification, a cleaning out of all the distraction, the worldly noise, the internal chatter. Okay, so what does this impurity of heedlessness actually feel like in our day-to-day lives? Let's take a look at some of the symptoms, and maybe we can start to see if we recognize any of this in our own hearts. And the key thing to remember is ghafla isn't just a quick moment of forgetfulness. Nope, it's a whole state of inner absence. I mean, think about it. You can be physically going through the motions of worship, but your heart, it's a million miles away, lost in your to-do list or what happened yesterday. That right there is the difference between just going through the motions and truly actually being present. And the state, it shows up in such relatable ways, doesn't it? Your mind just constantly replaying events, your heart kind of gripped by fear and anxiety, that frantic chase for what other people think of you. When you're that lost in your own internal noise, there's no room left for anything else. But here is the really hopeful part. The source doesn't just drop this heavy diagnosis on us and walk away. No, it gives us a clear, actionable, two-part remedy for cleansing the heart and actually treating the state of heedlessness. So, how do we even start this purification process? Well, the path is built on two foundational pillars, al-dhikr, which is remembrance, and al-fikr, which is reflection. And it is absolutely crucial that we see these not as, lofty ideas, but as active daily practices. And I just love how this visual shows them working together, like a team. Think of remembrance, al-dhikr, as the alarm clock for your soul. It's the thing that wakes you up from that slumber of distraction. But then, what? You're awake. Now what do? That's where reflection, al-fikr, comes in. It's the guide for your newly awakened heart, helping you ask the tough questions like, what really matters here? What illusions have I been chasing? And this is so important. This is a practical effort. You can't just think your way out of heedlessness. It just doesn't work like that. It takes real work. It means consistent remembrance, and sometimes it means making that tough choice to actively turn down the volume on all the worldly noise that's constantly pulling us away. Okay, so all of this brings us right to the starting line of the journey. And the key thing here is that it's not about achieving some perfectly pure heart overnight. It's all about where we choose to begin. Man, this quote just captures the essence of it perfectly. You can't sincerely ask for light and clarity while at the same time you're insisting on holding on to everything that creates darkness and confusion. It's about aligning what we say we want with what we actually do. And honestly, here's probably the most reassuring part of all this. The goal is not instant perfection. That's just impossible, right? The only real requirement is sincerity in the process. It's all about that honest, humble moment when you can just admit to yourself, you know what? My heart needs a good cleaning. And then you actually take that very first step. So when you put all of this together, it builds to this final, really beautiful realization. The journey we're talking about, it isn't about physically going from one place to another. It's a journey of transformation. It's an internal shift from a state of being heedless to one of being watchful, from a scattered soul to one that's finally focused and knows its true direction. Okay, so to wrap this up, what are the key things we need to take away from this incredible wisdom? First, ghafla, heedlessness, that's the primary barrier. Second, the path to getting closer requires a genuine inner purification. And third, that purification process really kicks off with those twin practices, remembrance and reflection. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the whole journey just starts with a sincere intention to begin the cleaning process. And all of this really leaves us with one final vital question to carry with us. The source material is pretty clear. The door to presence is always open. So the only real question left for us is this: what kind of heart are you bringing to it? So what better way to end than with the beautiful prayer offered in the source itself, turning all this understanding into a shared aspiration for every single one of us. Thanks so much for exploring this with me.